not me, 'cause I throw hands. Try Jesus, please don't try me, because I'm fine. I know what he said about getting slapped, but if you touch me or mine, we gon' have to scrap. So, try Jesus, please don't try me, because I'm fine. I have no problem laying these hands. Try Jesus, don't try me.
Yeah.
'Cause I throw hands. Try Jesus, please don't try me, because I'm fine. Oh, you said, turn the other cheek. Oh, but this one part of the Bible that just don't sit right with me.
All right, let's go old school with it. Yeah. TODT live, baby. Let's go.
I'm prolific, so gifted. I'm the type that's gon' go get it. No kidding. Breaking down a switch in front of your building. Sitting on the steps, feeling no feelings.
What's going on, everybody? This is TODT live, man.
You gotta keep the devil
D Stanfield is in the building. We back.
You know how it go,
Happy New Year, everybody.
I'm front line every time it's on.
Front line.
100 pro flow.
Let's go.
Running shoot pro.
Hey.
458 drop. Playing bulletproof song.
We got a ton of stuff to talk about, man. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Thank you for Kellen for the culture, man. Please like and share the show right now, man. I know it's late.
Downtown Diamond District jewelers like
Thank you everybody for tuning in. Good evening, Seneca. Good evening, Kelly, Ron, Peter, Sheen, Ahmed. Everybody that's tuning in, man. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and share the show. Please throw some hearts, just throw some love in the air, man. I don't care how you feel, man. Just go ahead and put some emojis in the air, man. Let's go ahead and get this thing popping. Hey yo, I had to go old school tonight, man, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. It's good to be back. As you all know, as you all may or may not know, I was supposed to be back last week, but I was taking care of some technical difficulties. So we back, man. Happy New Year. A lot of stuff has been going on. I'm kind of glad I didn't come back last week because, as everybody knows, there's been a ton of turmoil going on in the political landscape across these great United States and across this world. Everybody's still dealing with Corona and trying to navigate through that. And there's just a lot of things that are going on that kind of supersede the entire podcast platform, if you will. So it's more so I was taking time to focus on the things that were more important. And so I don't know if I formally kind of told everybody what's going on, but I'm sure if you've taken a look at the Facebook page, at my personal Facebook page, everybody knows that I got a baby on the way, and that I'm having a little boy. Little boy's due any day now, so we kind of on kid watch, man. Shout out to Ron Thomas, man. What's going on, Ron Thomas? What's going on, Dennis Holmes, man? Marcus Betts. We got a lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of stuff. I'm expecting a kid, young boy, man. My second kid, man. Really looking forward to this. Being a dad again, starting over from scratch. Things are really exciting, man. So I'm amped about it, man. But outside of that, man, the new year has had its good things and its bad things to discuss. But overall, y'all know how we do things at TODT Live. We talk about what's going on in our town, what's going on in your town, and overall, I've been blessed, man. I've been blessed to see another year. I've been blessed to remain gainfully employed. I've been blessed to not lose too many friends throughout the Corona thing. And I would really like to hear what you guys have to say. I'd really like to hear what's going on in your town, what's going on in your lives, what you're thankful for, what some of the New Year's resolutions that you are looking forward to partaking in for this year, man. So if you got something that's going on in your town, outside of what's going on or what has transpired in DC and what's currently going on in DC, because we will get into that regardless. I think everybody knows that's the main subject matter of conversation. So we're gonna dip into that, man. But if you've got other things that's going on around the country, around your city, man, go ahead and drop those comments in the comment section so we can get it popping. And you know what? I am in the business of having people on the platform again tonight. So if you want the link so you can come in and drop some comments, we can have a random conversation, man, go ahead and drop it in the comment section. I will definitely send you the link in the in your DMs, and you can definitely holler at me, or I'll invite you on the podcast, and we can have a brief conversation, man. I don't want to keep it too long, but I definitely want to allow the voice of the people to be spoken tonight. And the reason I verbalize it like that is because it seems as though since November, the voice of the people, especially the popular voice, has been vibrant and strong, as is evident by the political landscape. I think we talked about it. No, I know we talked about it with regard to our president and vice president elect, but I want to give them a shout out again. Congrats to President and Vice President elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, respectively. You won it fair and square, despite a lot of the gibberish that has been being spewed out there. So kudos to the work and the foot traffic and the commitment that you have that you guys put forward to make history. Kamala Harris being our first black female vice president, and I say the word black cautiously. You guys know how I feel about that. She is the first woman of color in the vice president position. So kudos to you. Big shout out to you. Big shout out to you, Joe, for what you guys have done. But I want to kind of also give big kudos to a lot of the people that were involved in making sure that these people were put in office. And I think that everybody knows who I'm talking about. Stacey Abrams, Miss Keisha Lance Bottoms, and big shout out to John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock and the campaign, the strong, diligent campaign that they ran here in Georgia to get the Senate flipped over from majority Republican to Democrat. Let me say this. I had an immense amount of mail, paraphernalia, phone calls, and doorbell rings from the Ossoff and Warnock team. And I don't recall seeing a political movement as strong and dedicated as this one in a very, very long time. I would say that even as it pertains to former President Barack Obama and his foot traffic, his frontline team, I don't recall it being as thorough as what we saw with John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. It was a joy to watch, actually. And this is coming from a person that has been volunteering on political campaigns since I was of the age of 9, from making phone calls to when I was of age, driving around church passenger vans to make sure that the elderly in our community and others alike were able to to let their voices be heard via our voting platform. So shout out to Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. You guys really showed up and showed out, and shout out to the people of Georgia, man. You have spoken. I am not either, and this is just me being honest, I'm not either Republican or Democrat. Some things I'm Democratic, some things I'm Republican, some things I'm conservative, some things I'm liberal about. And so it really just kind of depends on what's going on with the situation, how I'm going to vote. But I don't want to subscribe to one particular party because, as we all know, political parties have a tendency, when they become complacent, to take advantage of the people, and I never want to be in that position. And so I would encourage you all to do the same. And obviously that has been done, and we'll get into that. Shout out to Ryan Rubley, man. Let's see, what'd you say, Ryan? Don't forget Latino Community Fund for contacting every single Hispanic in Georgia. Shout out. Ryan, I'm not doing this with you, but yeah, shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody, from people of color to our Caucasian counterparts, to anybody who participated in this political onslaught and display of just it was masterful. It was a masterful plan that they put together here in Georgia to be able to flip Georgia on both the national presidential election as well as the senatorial election as well. And so kudos to you all. There's a lot to be said about that. But what's most important at this juncture is now, as we approach January 20th, and for those of you that are not aware of what January 20th is bringing, January 20th is the date that we will inaugurate our new commander-in-chief and his respective vice president, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And here's the thing. We oftentimes, as a people, we show up and show out for the voting process. But as it pertains to the accountability process, and what I mean by that is showing up to the town hall meetings, being active with your school boards, showing up to speak with your sheriffs and your fire chiefs, your city aldermen, councilmen, board of directors, all your city officials. There is an accountability factor there that we oftentimes lose sight of. And my mission this year is really to kind of expound upon and continue upon the same momentum that we all gathered last year, which is to make sure that we are fully engaged in the issues that are present in our communities, and that we actively, from a day-to-day basis, hold our city officials and our public servants accountable for being the voice of the people, and not just the selfish voices that they have had a tendency to be in the past. Ryan Rubley jumped in and said Latino early voting went from 10% to 65%. Stacey got the full ground game going. Listen, there is not enough that we can say about the ladies in this state and in this city. Keisha Lance Bottoms by far should be elevated and praised for the efforts that she both put forth and helped to facilitate. And Stacey Abrams, I think her reputation and her efforts kind of go without saying. What happened in the state of Georgia, especially as it pertained to John Ossoff. Now, Raphael Warnock, I don't know if you know if everybody knows about the politics of the state of Georgia and more specifically within the city of Atlanta. But Raphael Warnock is affiliated with the Ebenezer Baptist Church, which is where Martin Luther King also went to church. And so there is a lot of political support and backing that is by de facto going behind Reverend Warnock that went behind Reverend Warnock just because of his affiliations alone. On top of the fact that he is a good guy, but with John Ossoff, David Perdue is a political juggernaut. He had a pretty good reputation here in the state of Georgia, and I think that if we look back over his campaign, the one thing that we could probably attribute to his downfall was his repeated support of the Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, during the times of turmoil, including the times of COVID when the handling was not great. Shout out to you, Will Bombard, man. What's up to you? As well as a lot of the rhetoric that was spewed during those times and his continued support. I think that, and this is me having interacted with David Perdue. He really is a good guy. He's got some good ideas. He really tries to be considerate of his constituents and be an active voice of the people. But I think in times like what we have experienced over the past year, you have to be very careful politically when the country is in a state of turmoil, strife, and limbo. And it seemed as though that the state of Georgia particularly was in a heavy state of limbo. And as we saw with this election, those things, in my opinion, proved to be overly detrimental as it pertained to him retaining his senatorial seat. And so I do want to say shout out to David Perdue. You did run a great race. He kept it classy, which is more than I can say about some individuals that ran, particularly Kelly Loeffler. There were some jabs thrown on the political landscape, but the Democratic Party kept things classy. They kept things above the belt, so to speak, and so kudos. They deserve kudos for that as well. Let's jump to some of the comments. Willa Bumbar said, "You make sure you put $50 away out of your stimulus money to pay me for that bet about Juju." I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Ryan Rubley said, "Loeffler and Perdue were two of the worst senators and candidates possible. The fact that they weren't shackled is astounding and scary." I agree with you about the Loeffler thing. The Perdue thing, we're going to have a debate about that, and this is from personal experience, but that's neither here nor there. Michelle Lane said, "Kellen, hey, bro, I'm here." Appreciate you for tuning in, Michelle. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you have not done so already, please go over to the TODT Live page and subscribe to the page. Also, please make sure that you put the settings to the point where you hear that you get all of our posts and all of our lives. If you would, please throw some likes and hearts in the air. Really appreciate you guys. Ryan Rubley said they effing bought stock in body bag suppliers while denying the pandemic. I bought stock in body bag suppliers as well, bro. That's not a reason not to be elected as a politician. Sorry. I also bought stock. Well, I'm not giving y'all my stock tips. Not tonight. This is not the place or the this is not the time or the place for that. That being said, man, I wanna entertain some of the commentary. Listen, trust Ravens, man. You are very, very well versed within the political realm across New York State and abroad, man. I want to hear how you felt about the politics of what happened in the presidential election, as well as what happened in Georgia. If you have any tidbits on where particularly David Perdue could have went wrong, not necessarily Kelly Loeffler, because I think we all knew that she was dead in the water. Matter of fact, when CNN posted the numbers, at that 7 o'clock mark, and Kelly Loeffler was up by 65,000 votes, and DeKalb hadn't come in yet, and parts of Clayton hadn't come in yet, I said, she's done. I said she's done. And for those of you that don't know, who are not well versed in the state of Georgia, DeKalb County and Clayton County are largely African American and Hispanic counties, and even more than that, they are heavy liberal counties. So the likelihood of her winning the race was very, very, very slim. On the other hand, David Perdue was up by 117,000 votes. And so exactly what happened is exactly what I predicted. The David Perdue Ossoff thing was going to be really, really close. And as it turned out, by the grace of whoever your higher being may be, John Ossoff ended up pulling it off. I want to say by 17,000 votes or something like that, but it was a very, very slim victory for Ossoff. But you know what they say in the sports world: a W is a W. You don't care how you get it as long as you get it. So shout out to Ossoff. Ryan Ruby said, okay, Purdue cashed in on multiple large deals he had a direct oversight on. That's facts, but that happens in politics. Again, this happens in politics all the time. Okay, so let's have this conversation, Ryan, since you want to bring it up. And if I will be happy to send you the link if you want to jump in here and have this debate. But let's be clear, guys. And just get this in your head. Politicians, all because of their affiliations and their sponsors and their donors, who are oftentimes big business, big industry donors, they oftentimes have access to insider trading tips. And what that does is that allows for them to capitalize on increases on investments, or to alleviate themselves from losing money on potential losses because of those ties. It's kind of like nepotism for stocks and bonds and things of that nature, if I can put it in layman's terms. This has been going on for centuries. Insider trading within politics specifically has been going on for centuries. So I don't want you to think this is anything new. It is, however, very, very unethical, very, very wrong. Should be held accountable, but I'm not. But I am of the mindset that we should really get out of the mindset of complaining about things that we already know that we're up against. We got to learn how to play the game better. We got to learn how to beat people at their own game. Sitting around and complaining about it is not going to get anything accomplished. And so thank you for bringing that to our attention, Ryan. But that's not something that I'm willing to complain about. Trust Raven said, good stuff for the pastor becoming senator. Kellen for the culture said, trust Ravens from Be More, call in. Yeah, man, call in. Claire V. Neptune. Okay. Willa Bumbar said, political game is becoming more of an entertainment factor rather than an elected actually making changes for the people, states, and countries. That's facts. Yo, let me throw a like in. Yo, I'm gonna throw an applause. Thank you, Willa Bombard. That is big facts. And as a matter of fact, I wouldn't even say becoming. I would say that it's already become that. And this is why. So this is what I was trying to get to. We as a people need to get in the habit. We need to get in the habit of finding ways to hold our politicians and our public servants as a whole accountable for the things that they are responsible for speaking for us for. What I have thoroughly enjoyed about Donald Trump's presidency is because of his ignorance and his rhetoric at times, people have become overly involved and entrenched in looking into the issues and finding out things that they wouldn't have even thought twice about in years past. Specifically, I've never seen so many people know who's on their school board. I've never seen so many people know who their councilmen are, who their senators are. I don't even recall hearing about as many letters and emails as I have heard about in the recent past. Kellen, let me post a number. Let me post a call-in number. But I really don't want you to call in. I want y'all to jump in the feed. I can send you the feed. But I just want to say before I post the number, and feel free to call in. I want to say I really wish, or I really think that that Donald Trump's presidency, although very, very tumultuous and very, very disruptive at times, if you will, divisive. I think that's a better word. Very divisive at times. It spurned two separate things. It allowed us as a country to be able to put a name and a face on people who are naturally racist and bigots. That's the first thing. The second thing that Donald Trump's presidency allowed us to do, well, I shouldn't say allowed us to do, but it motivated a lot of people within this country to seek out ways where they can be contributors to making the country as a whole better. And I think that I think that if we just take an opportunity to see the good in the midst of this bad, we will appreciate that. We will continue to appreciate that. But the thing that concerns me the most is the fact that we can't lose this momentum. There's a ton of work to be done. There's an absolute ton of work to be done, and it's time out for the status quo, if that is what it is. So let me go ahead and post in the call-in number. The call-in number is area code 716-390-9942. Posting that up on the screen for you guys. Again, that call-in number is area code 716-390-9942. If you want to jump in the feed, go ahead and hit me up on in my DMs on Facebook, and I will shoot you a link, and you can feel free to hop into this feed so we can have this conversation. Now, I can only do one at a time. Actually, I can do more than that, but I'm not going to do more than that. But man, it's been a joy to watch in the midst of everything that's going on, in the midst of all of these racist acts, in the midst of the whole Black Lives Matter movement, which is an ongoing movement, in the midst of us dealing with COVID. It has been a joy to watch. Another thing that we have been able to leverage in these times is I think that I don't know if we'll ever be office workers ever again. And what I mean by that is this. A lot of people have moved to a place and to a position where they are consistently and effectively working from home. And I think that companies are starting to notice finally that you don't necessarily have to be in an office to get things done. And I can't speak for everybody, but I myself find great joy in that because I am one of those people. Being able to work from home allows you to be efficient, allows you to be able to get more stuff done, allows you to be able to spend more time with your family and your friends, and that's dope to me. But hold on, Dre, I got you right now. Hold on. Okay, go ahead and call back, Dre. I got you. I don't know if I can imagine going back into the office full time, going back to any office full time, given the level of flexibility and effectivity that I've had as of late. So, matter of fact, we calling Dre right now. Let's see if he picks up. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. You're listening to TODT Live, Talking to Tom. I'm your host, D. Stanford, the professional. We are here talking about all the issues. While we're waiting for Dre to get off the toilet and answer, let me read some of the comments. Will LeBombard said, "I couldn't even imagine another 4 years with 45 in office." That's irrelevant. Oh, we got Andre the Torch Robinson on the phone. Dre, let me read this last comment by Trust Ravens. Trust Ravens said, "Due to the low volume of votes in our neighborhoods, local elections are very vital. Helps the landscapes of our executive, legislative, and judicial system, district attorneys, etc. Folks got to understand the roles and the impact of local elections have, and how they shape elections can shape a state. Georgia is a perfect example, man. Shout out to you, man. Let me give you a round of applause for that, Trust Raven. That's exactly what I was looking for, man. That's exactly what I was looking for. It's just dope that we are able to recognize this in this day and time, considering what we're going to. And again. We will get to the Capitol thing. I just wanted to touch on the things that are taking us into the new year with some positivity before we get into the capital thing, because that is honestly going to take me to another place. So now we got Andre the Torch Robinson on the phone. What's going on, Dre?
Hey, what's going on, big bro? What's going on?
Hey man, good to hear from you, bro. Man, how's things going up there in the rough buff?
Uh, Wonderful. You know, it's a great time for Bill's Mafia and the city, the community in itself. First and foremost, it's really good to see TODT back. That's phenomenal. I'm super excited about that because I do have some questions that need expert analysis and answers to.
Hey man, it's great. It's good to be back, man. I'm glad that I'm glad that you were the first person to call in, but it would have been better if you were on the air with me. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm actually driving, just leaving from housing, so I apologize about that. But I figured I'd call in. I know I get the same whether I'm on the air or whether I'm calling. So I'm gonna get the same Devon, the professional Stanfield anyway.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to the DJ Horn for that.
Absolutely.
Bars, baby.
Absolutely.
So what you got to say, Dre, man? What's on your mind?
Okay, so here's my question. And I like to fire start a little bit, and it may be off of a little bit what you're talking about as far as the capitalism and things of that nature. But my question to you is, obviously we've seen what happened with the Capitol building and everything, people climbing up the walls and doing what they did at the Capitol building, and now they want to impeach Trump. My question is, you've seen all the peaceful protests that have happened during the time that Trump has been elected. Do you think that those peaceful protests stop because Biden and Harris is in office, or do you think they should stop?
Okay.
Or will they stop?
All right, so that's a great question, Dre, and I'm glad you posed that question to me and not Marcus Betts. Shout out to Marcus, man. Shout out to Marcus the Alphabets, man, and the Alphabets Talk Show. Shout out to the entire Rise Up Family platform for that matter. Listen, first of all, Dre, you know how I feel about Joe Biden, President-elect Joe Biden. You know that I still hold him accountable for the 1994 crime bill, and with a clear understanding that his name, shout out to Courtney Chappelle, his name, Joe Biden's name, has been on every major crime bill that has been a part of the decimation of our community, being specific, the black community, since 1969. Okay,
Correct.
And so
yeah.
I have been very, very clear and adamant about the idea that although I might prefer to have a Democrat or another person in office other than Donald Trump, the fact of the matter is there is still an evil there that needs to be dealt with. President-elect Joe Biden has a history that should not be overlooked. That we need to be very, very careful about how we move forward in terms of evaluating him. There are no excuses whatsoever for him, and I resent the fact that it took him until November of 2020 to get an apology for a bill that literally tore our entire community apart. On top of the fact that I am not 100% sure that he was not fully invested in the prison industrial complex that was in the stock market that Ryan Rubley so eloquently brought up earlier, that he's not leveraging and making money off of the backs of black people in what we would call modern day slavery. So should the peaceful protests should the peaceful protests stop? Hell no. But let me say this. We should also not go into this presidency with a mindset that is closed-minded. We should be thinking about things creatively. We should be thinking about things with an open mind. We should be giving the new administration our full cooperation to see what they are able to do and what they are capable of, and to see if they have intentions on truly speaking for us and truly helping not only black and brown people, but the entire community, as opposed to taking the stereotypical capitalistic mindset and shitting on certain people and helping other people. That's how I feel about that.
Wow, you couldn't have said that any better. To be honest with you, one last question before I go, and it involves Will and Bumbar's comment as far as people climbing over the walls, things of that nature. Um, what is your thoughts on the fact that I think it was only maybe one or two people that was arrested behind all that, compared to the peaceful protest that you're seeing here in Buffalo? What is your
So Dre, I'm gonna have to stop you right there because I specifically asked not to ask any questions about the Capitol until we get into that conversation. So I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
My apologies.
And keep in mind, the only reason I said that is because I know where I am mentally. I'm gonna get angry when we get into that conversation. So I just need to hold off. I need to hold off until we actually get there. But I mean, unless we receive another phone call, and feel free to pin the phone number, the call-in number into the comment section. It's 716-390-9942. Again, that's 716-390-9942. Unless we get another phone call, you could feel free to stay on the line, man, and continue this conversation. But I can't have that conversation for a myriad of reasons right now.
Okay.
Because
don't let me start too early. My apologies. I didn't hear that part.
No. You all the way good. So Dre, while I got you on the phone, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What in our, let's just say in our first 18 months within this regime, what should we expect from President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris? What should we expect from them and their cabinet with regard to directly with regard to changing the country? And the only reason I'm giving them 18 months is because I still feel like we are 4 to 6 months away from getting over the COVID pandemic and getting to a place where we can actually address issues that have been stemming way before we got into COVID.
That is a very good answer. And this is going to sound like the unorthodox answer, and I'm going to be very clear why I'm going to say this. My expectation is nothing.
Okay. Care to expound?
And I'm going to explain why. Because we as a community, we as a society, we as people who are law-abiding citizens need to stop depending on folks and start doing things for our damn selves. Excuse my French. But we need to start doing things on our own. Stop depending on presidential candidates to change things when we could be changing things ourselves by coming together in positivity and unity and in unison and doing things of our own in our own manner. Let's start not just policing our own communities. I'm talking about let's hold each other accountable.
Okay.
We call each other family on the daily. We need to hold each other to that standard. If we about family and doing things positive, then we need to build in that manner. If we as a community would come together and just be on one accord, we would be able to do a lot. And that don't matter if you black, white, purple, blue, brown, yellow, green. I don't care if you're multicolored, Skittle looking. It doesn't matter. That to me, none of that matters. What matters most is what we do at the end of the day. We have to be self-sufficient. Stop relying on folks so damn much. Because how many times have we seen this? The Reliant stuff. That Reliant stuff is for the Houston Texans sports talk related. Sorry. That Reliant stuff is for that. And you see how that organization is right now. All right.
It's funny.
As far as Reliance. Stop.
Will Bombard said, I tell you what, if they don't send the third stimulus to people, their word will mean nothing. And then Kellen for the Culture said, we not about that life, though. He was specifically referring to you saying that we need to come together and do stuff for ourselves.
Bro, shoot, when we gonna start being about that life?
Well,
that's my question.
That's a great question. I guess we've had this conversation in the past, and I try to stay away from it with regard to the we need to come together thing because because it's frustrating. Let me address the stimulus thing first. Like I said, Will Bombard said if they don't come through on the stimulus bill, then their word means nothing. Trust Ravens followed that up and said stimulus is cool, but that doesn't solve much in the long scheme. I agree with that 100%. Here's the thing. I'm not. I don't necessarily. The stimulus thing is kind of tricky, man, and it kind of makes me angry because for two reasons. Number one, yes, the country needs the stimulus to continue to stimulate the economy and take care of people that are incurring life issues and travesties at no fault of their own, potentially contributed to by the previous regime and our current POTUS, President of the United States, Donald Trump. That's first and foremost. And so I do think that we need to take that we need to put forth measures to take care of our people. My problem with this entire stimulus thing, and I had the same conversation when President Bush did it. I had the same conversation when President Obama did it. But with this situation, it's been more and more evident. Our government does not give a flying fuck about black people. For centuries, for decades, very recently, when we talked about the word reparation, it was, we don't have the money. We're already trillions of dollars in debt. There's no way we could afford to give black people reparations. We don't even know who's black anymore, and blah, blah, blah this and blah, blah, blah that. And then when a pandemic comes around, not only do you handle it incorrectly, you turn around and you give away $2 trillion. But you don't. But then you talk about black people, you can't afford to give them reparations when you just literally printed money. So it's okay to give money to big business because let's be clear, there was a myriad of money provided to a lot of these big business companies as bailouts, just like they did with AIG back when President Bush and President Obama were in office, and now it's just repeating itself. And we are headed towards a downward spiral of financial turmoil, and somebody is gonna have to pay this shit back. And I'm not gonna turn away the money. Let me be clear, because I'm still gonna take the money, but I also want to be clear in the understanding that although we need to take care of our countrymen, we definitely need to take care of our countrymen. At some point, we need to get back to this conversation about reparations for black people, because I am sick and tired of being skipped over. Now, that does not mean that I am sitting around and waiting for reparations, because that is not who I am. I'm about to go and get my bag, whether you give it to me or not. But while I'm holding you mutually accountable for something that you promised, because I didn't ask for you to say that you was going to give us 40 acres and a mule. You volunteered that information. So since that's something since that's something that you promised to us, give us what you owe. But while you still contemplating and while you still bullshitting, I'm gonna be out here trying to earn mine and get my bag so I can make sure that my kids and my grandkids and generations after that are gonna continue to somewhat flourish and do better than what the hell I had to do, and what the hell my parents and my grandparents before them had to do. And that's what I would encourage everybody to take that mindset. And Dre, let me go a little bit further than that before I jump into the comments. You are absolutely right, man. The mentality around how to move in this country and in this world as a whole, as it pertains to black and brown people, is oftentimes, I don't even want to say overlooked. It's just negligent. There is a huge everybody for themselves mentality as it pertains to progress in this world. And the problem with only looking at it that way is when you only look at it that way, you ignore the fact that this government took part in tearing down our communities, from the whole welfare thing to the whole crack epidemic to the arms dealers and things of that nature. It is all contributed to the tearing down in our communities. But when I say mutually accountable, the mutual accountability then comes back to us, because ain't nobody tell you to take them drugs. Ain't nobody tell you to buy guns and shoot up your own communities and this, that, and the third. So just like we want to hold them accountable, we also need to go back to our communities, close the doors, and have those conversations, close doors within ourselves to address each other and hold each other accountable, but not necessarily in front of them, because growing up, Dre, when you had a conversation with your mom, and if your mom had to cut your ass, everything that went on in your house needed to stay the fuck in your house.
Oh yeah.
So as I jump into the comment section, and thank you for that question, man. As I jump into the comment section,
it's something I wanted to say real quick before you read them comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
Forget the whole stimulus, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Forget the whole stimulus. You know what they need to work towards?
I'm listening.
Student loans.
Oh, yo, you know what? Let me stop you right there. Joe Biden, you committed to forgiving off the top. One of your first initiatives was to forgive at least $10,000 in student loans across the nation. I need that done. That was one of your first initiatives. At least $10,000.
Absolutely.
I need that done. And here's the thing, Dre. Yo, I don't got student loans. I paid mine off. So I'm fighting for other people. I ain't even fighting for myself. So I need that done, Joe. Especially since we keeping it a buck, especially for HBCUs, because you went hard on your campaign trail while you was saying that you're not apologizing for crime bills and stuff. You went hard on the campaign trail for HBCUs because it was good for the moment. But now I need you to show and prove, bro. Let's jump into the comment section, man. Trust Raven said, "Fix the broke ass education system, and that's that stymie make many people lazy as hell." That's facts. Willa Bumbar said, "We tried that. Unfortunately, there are bad eggs in the batch, and it makes it harder for us to unite together and solve problems. People are power, but there's a lot of resistance." That is, and Willa Bumbar, what's funny about that comment is a lot of the resistance comes from internally. Think about that. Let that sink in. Ryan Rubley said, "You don't have to qualify that by saying government. You could just say American society." Facts. Willem Bombard said, "Until we get past racism, we won't be able to unite and make real change." Kellen for the Culture said, "They gave us that money and we did with it. Not a damn thing." Hey, Kellen, it's funny that you say that. You remember the Chappelle show when he did that episode when everybody got reparations, and the dude went and bought the big ass 18 wheeler with nothing but cigarettes in that shit. Boy, anyway. Trust Raven said, "Fix student loans, fix employment, fix things that can go a long way. A stimulus that most people are going to waste is a waste." Facts. Oh man. Ryan Rubley said, "Stop. It's not like white people did anything with it either. It either paid bills or bought a TV, no matter who received it." I disagree with that. I know people that put their money in the stock market, Ryan. A lot of it. And they've received a good ROI. So I know that's exception to the rule, so you don't have to correct me on that, but not everybody did dirt with it. I'll just put it to you like that. Especially people that got the small business stimulus. A lot of those people did some crazy lucrative things to those things, and I'm hearing stories about it almost every day. Willa Bombard said, "In a few years, you'll be repaying that money back, whether they raise taxes or take chunks from your tax return." Facts. That's what I was getting at. Please like and share the show. Please and thank you, tag a friend. Thank you, Kellen, for the culture. Ryan then said, "Free education and healthcare goes a long way to equalize wealth and disparity." Man. Okay. Trust Raven said, "Mentally nowadays people are too entitled. and it's unfair, but society don't give two shits about us until we start giving two shits about ourselves. Ooh. They don't want to hear that, though. They don't want to hear that, though. Willa Bombard said exactly my point. He said student loan forgiveness and stimulus. So, again, if they don't deliver their word, will mean nothing. Facts. And then Ryan Rubley said agree, but that starts with our government providing for people. Look at Europe. They riot for their benefits. 36-hour work week. Paid leave for everybody. $20 an hour minimum wage. I'm sorry, £20 an hour minimum wage. Free healthcare and free education. That's what we need. I'm on board. I'm on board to an extent. That's teetering towards socialism to an extent, but I'm on board to an extent. Do you think people on fixed income should get more help with stuff? Absolutely, Ron Thomas. And then Ryan Rubley said PPP is totally different from the $1,200 stimulus. Okay, I'm with you on that. Dre, did you have anything else to say? Again, guys, if you want to call in, phone number is area code 716-390-9942. Again, 716-390-9942. Or you can hit me up in my DMs in Facebook, and I will be sure to send you a link, and you can jump on. You can actually jump on the show. It's up to y'all. I don't want to stronghold anybody. Anybody that wants to get on, go ahead and shoot me a line. But okay. It's 1:30, man. And I said I was gonna. We started the show like a little bit after 12:40, and I said I was gonna give it an hour before I got to it. So let's get to this. Dre, what was the question that you asked me earlier?
How about now? Can I ask about the Capitol?
Yes, you can ask me about the Capitol now. And let me preface this by saying this. What's going on, Jazz? Let me preface this segment of the conversation by saying this. I'm apologizing ahead of time for I'm apologizing ahead of time for any vulgarities and lack of professionalism that may come out of my mouth. But I am fucking fed up. But okay, go ahead, Dre.
So you are okay. So my question again was: obviously, you've seen what happened with the Capitol building, people climbing over the walls, things of that nature. In contrast or comparison to the peaceful protests that you've seen in Buffalo, what is your thoughts on that?
Okay. And with regard to the peaceful protest that I saw in Buffalo, and with regards to the Black Lives Matter march on the Capitol Hill, versus what we saw,
yes.
Last week.
Yes, sir.
I'm fucking furious. And I'm furious for more than one reason. Number one, my number one reason for being furious is I have family members that are Capital City Police that literally had to put their lives on the line because of incompetent, idiotic rhetoric from an individual who doesn't give two fucks about the people that protect him on a daily basis. I don't need to say names. I don't need to expound on that. My family is there. My friends are there. I have friends in the Secret Service. I have friends and family that are a part of the Capital City Police, and I take this shit fucking seriously. So when people say, when people come in my face saying, oh, there's no difference between Black Lives Matter, you lucky if I don't smack the shit about you. That's first and foremost. Secondly, and I'm not a fighter, but for mine, I'll smack the shit about you. I'll smack the taste about your mouth, like real talk. Secondly, to the other thing that you said earlier with the 2 or 3 people that got arrested, let's be clear: the FBI is putting out lists and names of people that were a part of the riot on a daily basis. Those people are being arrested strategically. So I don't want to present it as though they're doing nothing. They clearly are. They clearly are doing stuff. I just don't know if it is enough, and it damn sure wasn't enough at that time. What is most appalling to me is you had Capital City Police and people within that building directing rioters to people's offices, and as a result of that, we look like fucking idiots and fools to the rest of the world as a country. Moreover than that, 2 people lost their lives as a result of this bullshit. Two workers lost their lives as a result of this bullshit. And then on top of that, one individual who, from what I heard, from the information that I gathered, one individual that is that was a part of the Capital City Police that was on camera, from what I heard, giving said directions, opening the door, he killed himself on Saturday night. A friend of one of my family members is the guy that got cracked upside the head with the fire extinguisher and lost his life. And as we all know, Secret Service put down one of the young ladies that was trying to get into the Oval Office, which we saw on camera. I said all that to say this, man. About 6 months ago, back in September, because I looked at the episode back in September. We were on TOT. We were on this platform talking about the responsibility of the POTUS, like the verbiage responsibility. You have a responsibility to carry yourself and words and be very careful about your words when addressing our country, because you are the leader of the free world. You should not take those things lightly. And as a result of his words instructing multiple people to march on Capitol Hill, people who did not have to unnecessarily lost their lives. And that shit is a disgrace. And let me just look at the camera just for anybody who has a misconception about who I'm talking to. If you think that if you have a problem with what I'm saying, I'm more than likely I'm talking to you. It is a disgrace. And I listened, and I thought about playing it, but I don't even want to give it that level of I don't even want to give it that level of publicity. But I listened to Republican Representative Scalise get in front of Congress today and say, after saying this nation needs healing, this nation needs to come together, after making that bold statement, came right behind that and said, I am slow to impeach this president. And I said, you have got to be fucking kidding me. Our commander-in-chief incited a riot in which 2 people lost their lives that worked every day to protect him. One person lost their lives as a result of protecting him, and one person had killed himself. And this is your response? We need to be slow to impeach this president who is less than 6 days away from being out of office? Fuck that. Impeach that motherfucker now. Is that clear enough? Okay. I hope I was very, 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 very clear, because it's personal to me. And
hell yeah, that was clear.
It's that shit hit different when you got people down there, when your people putting their lives on the line. That shit hit a little different, bro.
Right.
And anybody that knows anybody that had to put their lives on the line to protect the Capitol, and anybody that knows anybody that has had to put their lives on the line to deal with protests throughout this entire year and help to mitigate COVID, you should hug them tomorrow. You should hug them tonight if you have the opportunity. And you should not take those things lightly. I think that it's clear. I think that and this is just me personally, I think that it's more than clear and evident that we have been through enough. Why are we tolerating things that are totally unnecessary as a people? As a people. This is our country. It's not cool, man. It's not cool. You're listening to TODT Live, Talk of the Town. I'm your host, D. Stanford, the professional man. I'm here with my boy, Andre the Torch Robinson, who was on the phone. Posing great questions, man. We got a couple nice, we got a ton of nice comments in the comment section. I had to get that out, man, and I apologize for anybody that may have been offended, but I honestly don't care. Because if my brother or my friend had lost their life as a result of this bullshit, I'm not sure exactly what my reaction would have been. And the fact of the matter is, there are other individuals who did have to deal with that. Willem Bombard said, well, for starters, Trump needs to be held accountable. Why is he not going to jail? I think that he could possibly be going to jail, bro. I do think that inciting a riot I think it's a felony. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think he could be. Kellen for the Culture said, we've been looking like a fool for 4 years, though. That's a relevant debate. Willa Bombard said, we are self-destructing in front of the world. We look very weak. If other countries wanted to invade right now, they'd be able to do it successfully with the circus we have in office for the next 6 days. Valid point. Trust Raven said, very different. Ryan Rubley said, how much of an inside job do you think it was? Oof. Ryan, when I saw a video of cats being instructed to people's offices, whew. I don't like to speculate, but again, angry. Lots of rumors floating, panic buttons missing. Yeah, I did hear about that. GOP Congress giving tours the day before the protesters. Hidden Congress office being found easily. Man, as a person who had COVID, I'm thankful each and every day, man. It's a scary time to live in nowadays. Who cares? We've been offended for centuries, bro. Talk that talk. Facts. Appreciate that, Trust. Ryan Rubley said, he's definitely going to jail. Unclear if he goes down for this. Yeah. And then he said he has a myriad of other legal issues. Yeah. And then Trust Raven said, federal offense, I think. But once he's not the president, trust and believe, I hope. But I feel they are going to come hard for Trump once he doesn't. Here's the problem. Here's the issue with that, though. When's the last time y'all seen Trump? Y'all asked yourself that? When's the last time you seen our president-in-chief, our commander-in-chief? Like physically seen him? I haven't seen him. Dre?
I haven't either, and yes, it is a federal crime to incite a riot on
Capitol Hill,
Capitol
right?
grounds.
Okay, so there you go.
In fact, sedition is SEDITION. Those charges are on the table. Conspiracy to sedition is on the table right now as we speak.
Okay.
I'm actually reading it right now. It says some crimes. I'll just read this real quick. It says some crimes such as unlawful entry or assault might be easier to investigate and prosecute, but others like incitement, conspiracy are incredibly complex, in no small part because one potential targets the prosecution of is a president of the United States. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, amendment right of citizens to protest against laws prohibiting interference in activities of the government. It also says, so how should federal and local prosecutors go about holding people accountable for the actions this past week? There have been 13 people so far that I'm reading this article that have been charged in federal court. I'll send you the link. Matter of fact, I'll try to paste it to the group messenger right now for the show. The comment section for the show.
That's dope. Let's see. Trust Raven said, I mean, they blocked off all his social media. It's been quiet. And he even tried to use Bill Belichick. Glad he has some sense not to go. Oh, Trust Raven dropping that knowledge like Kellen said, man. Shout out to Kellen for the culture. You're listening to TODT Live, Talk of the Town. I'm your host, D. Stanford, the professional. I'm here with my boy, Andre the Torch Robinson. Trust Raven said, I hope they make it where he can't go for any more public offices. Okay, I'm with that. Willa Bumbar said, well, here's the problem with that. The guy has so much money, he'll stretch any case against him out. That's fair, too. And I know he's made billions since he's been in office by insider trading, but that's neither here nor there. Ryan Rubley said he owes $1 billion. That's what half this was about. He made over $300 million in donations. Woo! Over 100 arrested in the Black Lives Matter thing. Yep. Not all charged fully yet though. Oh, you talking about? Okay. All right. Cool. And then Willem Baumar said, or he'll try to flee to Russia. He's always been connected to Russia. That was my point about have you seen him? I haven't seen him, and I don't know if I don't even know if he's in the United States right now. So that's neither here nor there. That is neither here nor there, though. Okay, so we are beginning to wrap up this conversation. Actually, we're beginning to wrap up the show. I usually only go for about an hour and a half. We are roughly at that mark to an extent. Actually, we right at about an hour and 10 minutes. We got a few more minutes, but I want to hear what's going on with y'all, man. I actually want to know how you guys feel about the whole situation. Oh, he was in the Alamo? Okay, cool. So he was in Texas. So Ryan, thanks, Ryan. He put it out there that Trump was in Texas. So cool. I want to know how you guys feel about this entire ordeal. I was gonna go through a philanthropic conversation about my boy Rick Hundley. And for all of you that don't know, what's going on, Ernest Alice? My boy Rick Hundley has been doing philanthropic raffle giveaways for these exorbitant items to give back to the community, man. And it's just an awesome dude. But instead of talking about that tonight, I think I'm gonna ask Rick to come on the show next week. So hold tight on that. We can actually have that conversation. Directly with Rick. Hopefully, Rick, if you're listening, man, hopefully you'll be on the show next week, man. It'll be great to have you. Also, for those of you that don't know, I did a podcast. With my guy Sheem One, who's out in Abu Dhabi. I posted a clip from the podcast on my Facebook page where we were talking about my wife. So if you have not done that, or if you have not checked that out already, please feel free to go ahead and check that out. It was a nice clip, a nice excerpt, and any opportunity that I have to uplift my wife, man, I'm gonna try to take that because she is more than deserving. Willa Bumbar said, "So is he becoming a guy who has to stay in hiding like Saddam or Bin Laden?" That's quite possible. I tell you what. I tell you this though, Will. I'll tell you this. I bet you he gets those pardons out in public. I bet you. I can't wait to see all them pardons that's coming before he gets out of office because they are coming. I'm expecting to see Lil Wayne's name on that list, and some other people. No need to get into it, but I'm just, I'm frustrated, but I'm also hopeful. Our people are resilient, man, and kudos to you all. This entire country, despite everything that we have been through over the past year, maybe like 14, 15 months, everybody has persevered, and make no mistake about it, we have been through a lot. I think like the bombshells, the dominoes really started falling on January 26th, which is the day that that Kobe Bryant was taken from us, and we will try to do something to commemorate Kobe, not next week, but the week after that. But I think the dominoes started falling after that, and it just continued to get worse and worse and worse. But I am firm in the mindset that we are still here, man, and we are, and I'm grateful for that. Calvin for the Culture said, make sure you tune in to trivia tomorrow at 10 p.m. That is going to be around the time that Fresh Perspective is coming on. Fresh Perspective is coming on at 9:00. And so we will definitely need your support as we continue to go through the shows, man. Continue to support the Rise Up Family platform, the On Point Network, the Ignorant Thinker podcast, Rise Up Family, the entire Rise Up gambit of shows. We are just elated with the opportunity for growth and with the momentum that we have. And we are overly appreciative of everybody who has been in support of us over the last year or so. Actually, the last 3 years. It's been a great ride, man, and we're only just beginning. So I am greatly appreciative of that. What else? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to make sure that we have covered everything. Everything that I wanted to cover for this show. I just want to make sure that I covered everything in current events. I could go into the impeachment, but I mean, I think that we've covered enough of that with regards to POTUS, and so in an effort to reassert ourselves into some positivity, man, I just want to leave on a positive note, and so. Oh yeah! Shout out to James Harden. He's on his way to Brooklyn. Brooklyn Nets looking real good on paper. So shout out to y'all for that. Again, I want to big up President-elect and Vice President-elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and Senatorial elects Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. Again, you guys ran a masterful campaign, and it should not be overlooked. It should not be taken lightly. But even more so than that, please understand that in the days to come, your job is really just beginning. You got 6 days before you are put on the scaffold, and we are holding you accountable. And so I expect and intend to work on ways that our communities can work together to hold you accountable, and I hope that you comply. I hope that you hold your word, because if you don't, there will be hell to pay. Willem Mumbar said Kyrie will be out. Russell will be there soon. Remember, I said this. Yo, y'all in this Russell Westbrook thing, that's not happening, bro. KD and Harden would ask for trades that night. Ryan Rulli said, Dave Portnoy is a douchebag, but he's done incredible work with the small business charity work he's been doing. He has earned reconsideration. Facts. That's facts. Okay. All right. Thanks for that comment, by the way. Kellen for the Culture said, you ain't talking about the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. Man, shout out to Buffalo Bills, man. Shout out to Bills Mafia. Shout out to Benny the Butcher, man. I'm glad everything in Houston, the unfortunate situation in Houston didn't get worse than what it was, man. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate the Bills Mafia remix joint. I've been bumping that a little bit. Shout out to Boosie as well, man. Glad that what happened in Texas did not take it. It didn't take it. It didn't go where it didn't need to go. So, let's see. Trust Raven said, I just hope that Biden stand on his word. Me and you both. He's not been great with that unless it works to our detriment. Already in the works. Kellen for the Culture said, the town talking about playoffs, AFC Championship game in Buffalo. I would like to see that. Nagy and Pace retain. Why does God hate the Bears fans? I don't know, Ryan. I don't know. And then Willa Bombard said the town is jumping right now. The town is jumping right now, man. And as a member of the town, I'm jumping as well, man. Shout out to happy birthday to E. Rawls, man. I'm living B. I hope you enjoyed your birthday weekend, man. Shout out to Lenny Stokes. Lenny, we got to get you on the show, man. Troop, we got to get you on the show, man. Talk these politics, man. Gotta get some. We got to get some traction in the politics in Buffalo and around the nation. So, with those things being said, man, I would like to wrap this thing up for the night. Again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in to TODT Live, Talk of the Town. I'm your host, D. Stanford, the professional. I for majority of the show, I have my guy Andre the Torch Robinson, and I appreciate that. Everybody that tuned in, Seneca Horge, Dennis Holmes Jr., Kellen for the culture. Shout out to Kellen for the culture, man, for sharing the show so many goddamn times, man. You are a beast, bro. I appreciate it. Ron Thomas, shout out to you as well. Ryan Rubley, I love the comments, love the questions. Willa Bombard, Michelle Lane, appreciate you. Marquita Stanfield. Listen, I know I say it all the time. Trust Raven, Andre the Torch Robinson. Like I said, I know I say this all the time, man. But if I missed you in the comment section, please charge it to my head and not my heart, man. I know it's a cliche church saying, but it's the easiest way that I can make sure that if I missed you, that you know that it was not intentional. Shout out to my sister Jazz, and again everybody else that tuned in. You listening to TODT Live, Talk of the Town, a representative of the Rise Up Family platform. Please tune in tomorrow for a fresh perspective at 9 p.m. This is our comeback show for the new year as well, and also tune in to Trivia Night, and then Friday night we got the Alphabets Football Talk Show, followed by this weekend's festivities with the Flying High podcast, as well as Rise Up Early. So man, looking forward to it. Got a great weekend coming up, and I am all too appreciative of everybody that tuned in. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you very much, man. Listen, as we jump into the final comments, I'm challenging, I haven't seen anybody post any of their resolutions in the comment section. So let me just send out a challenge to you all. I am challenging you all for two things. One, when people cross your mind, give them a call or shoot them a text message, because you never know what they're going through. You never know what they need. You never know what they're dealing with. So I've been doing this now for 2 years. When people cross my mind, I call them immediately, I text them immediately, or I write their names down, like in my notebook or something like that, so that I know that when I have free time to hit them up. That's the first thing, because we are not here to live alone. We are here to hold each other up. So when people cross your mind, please hit them up. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you are not living this life to make yourself better, please live this life to make this world better for someone else. Let's just take, so much was taken from us in 2020. Let's take 2021 to be a little bit more unselfish. Let's take 2021 to invest in our kids, to invest in our communities, without the expectation of receiving something in return. And I think that if we all take that mentality, then the world that we currently function in and live in on a daily basis just will be a much, much better place than the way that we left it. And I think that I can't speak for everybody again, but that's the only thing that I've ever asked of myself. And that's the only thing that I've ever asked of the people around me. Shout out to Buffalo again. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. Greatly appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a great night. Can't wait to see you next week. Try to get Ricky Hunley on, and we have a myriad of guests coming on in the next week, man. So I'm really, really excited. I'm really, really excited. But please do not lose those challenges, man. You just don't. I just think that we've been through enough to not want to hold each other up and try to give back for the next generation, because they need us. And with that being said, man, TODT Live, love you all. Shout out to Game Breakers and HBCU Esports, our sponsors and our partners, and shout out to everybody else that on the Rise Up Family platform. Much love to y'all. Can't wait to see you next week. Peace out.
The connection.
Yeah.
I just hear that so clearly. It
Shit
is
sound
time
crazy,
for
hey?
direct divine
butcher's coming,
connection.
nigga.
So God, I
See, the difference is, for me and y'all niggas, I really did this shit though, so I can say what I wanna say. I do this religiously, and I don't trust fools in this industry. Mad I came through on a winning streak. That's me blasting through your car auxiliary. They wanna John Lennon me, or John Kennedy. Since I've been on, I feel my adrenaline going. It take me back to the corners I solicited on. You know the ratio, when you from the hood, the only place we know. Only 3 out of 10 of us gon' make it though. No President Trump shit, elegant thug shit. Yeah, left on parole, getting heroin plugged in. Feelings ain't supposed to linger. I left without regrets, numb like anesthesia. Feds want me subpoenaed for niggas chasing goals that I targeted myself. Some of my best verses, I'm just talking to myself. They won't let me live for shit I already did. Every time my ops need medics to credit his, I'm like a mirror. I show a reflection of better years. But if you break me, that's bad luck for 11 years. Every time one of us die, I shed a tear. Then look in the sky, I wonder if heaven near. That was Benny at the height of the pressure and never scared. So the bond that I built with my niggas had never tear. Only a few in this room, yeah, that's when you rare. Get $1 million deal when used to get rid of squares.
Yeah, I'ma push it to the limit. Cop the same day and got the windows tinted. Drop 200 so they really know the difference. I'm in it like a taxi, a chick wanna bag me. Push it to the limit. Cop the same day and got the windows tinted. Drop 200 so they really know the difference. I'm going over the limit. We never post for pictures, motherfucker.
Live from the block, we came to remind those who forgot me. I really bagged dope in Versace. Ducked indictments, think I rich, that really shocked me. Even the FBI surprised that they don't got me. They telling me I'm saying too much, but that's the thing, my shit real. And these rappers playing too much. Streets taught me, take it easy, never playing too much. Could only move a quarter than 1,000 grams too much. I'm speaking as a survivor. The load getting heavy, I'm reaching back for my partners. Stuck in them ghettos that make you feel like a hostage. The ones that speak on my pockets. Can't imagine doing a quarter what I accomplished. Around 2010, trap got raided by the sheriffs. Came home in 2012, tending to my marriage.